Hi, welcome back. I was just recently watching the new Disney Pixar film Elemental, a story about fictional element creatures immigrating to a new city, and after watching it a few times, I realized that it's not just a story of made-up species learning to coexist, but I believe that each of the different elements seen in the movie represent a different real-life race. It's never clearly said what race each of the elements is supposed to represent, but I believe I've figured it out using the clues and hints within the film. I'm going to start with the most obvious one, the fire elements. It's pretty obvious that the fire elements represent Asians, with the fire culture and customs so similar to that of Asian cultures and customs, with most of the fire elements living in Firetown, which is a clear reference to Chinatown, a small area found in big cities that's all Asian people.
Hey, come back here!
Forget it, Jake.
It's Chinatown! Not to mention their language, Fire-ish, at times sounds Southeast Asian and Middle Eastern, and looks similar in structure to that of the Korean alphabet. To further back this up, the character Amber, Bernie, and Cinder are all fire elements that are voiced by actors of Chinese, Filipino, and Iranian descendants. The director and writer of the film, Peter So, who himself is a Korean descendant, said that the opening scene, which shows a family arriving at the fictional port of Element City, closely reflects the immigrant story of So's parents from Korea to New York. So the fire elements represent Asians. Water. Since the movie is inspired by Peter So's experiences growing up in New York, it makes sense to look at real-life factors to make comparisons. The water elements are the first elements to go to Element City. That's why in the movie it looks like the city is designed for just their needs. Remember when we see the train go over the bridge and all the water is displayed below, splashing down, potentially hurting other elements, namely fire? I'll get back to that in a little bit. So since the water people were the first ones to come to Elemental City, I think it's safe to say that they're based off the colonizers of America, which are Caucasians. Remember before when I said the city was built better for water elements? Well, that could be a play on how a lot of other races will claim that things are easier for white people. Elemental City is easier for water people. Don't believe me? Well, let's look at some more comparisons. The water elements are seen to be rich. Wade lives in Element City in a beautiful upscale apartment with a doorman. He's an entitled man-child with a white-collar job and no college experience. A job only a white person could get at such a young age. Wade's family is really into art, and you know how them whites be. So in conclusion, white people are evil. What was this fan theory about again? Oh yeah, that's right. Black people are clouds. Not much is revealed about the air characters. They have the least amount of lines in the movie out of all of the elements. But we do know that they seem to love a fictional game called Cloud Ball, which is very similar in design to basketball. The players run, or float in this case, around a court trying to get a ball into a hoop. Since the gameplay is similar to basketball and the players are air elements, then it would make sense that the race that makes up the majority of NBA players would also be what the air elements are. 73.2% of all basketball players in the NBA are black. Additional, when Wade buys that headpiece from the Cloud Ball game, it looks like an afro. Speaking of hair, the only cloud character that's a part of the supporting cast is a cloud character named Gale that sports a hairstyle very similar to that I've only ever really seen on black women. Finally, at the end we have Earth. Earth was the hardest one to figure out. I had no leads to go off of besides that Element City is loosely based on New York City. So I looked at the race chart that shows what the main races populating New York is. 52.5% of New York City residents are white, 18% are black, and 10% are Asian, which lines up with our theory because fire elements are barely seen in Elemental City. Outside of Firetown, we know that water elements are the highest population. The second largest race in New York City with 19.5% is Hispanic. And this checks out, since the Earth elements are the second race to move to Element City, it would make sense that they are the second largest population. Some other connections that connect the Earth elements to Hispanics are that plants are known to grow very slowly, and there are several studies about the aging of Hispanic people. These studies say Hispanic people age slower than other races. There are other examples backing this up too. Buying a new car is a big deal in Hispanic culture. It is celebrated and recognized as a hard-earned achievement. And the majority of the elements driving vehicles in Element City are Earth elements. Additional to that, the way Claude, an Earth element, keeps hitting on Amber and romanticizing her is a clear stock character trope known as the Latin lover or the dashing Hispanic. So in conclusion, I've concluded. Thanks for watching and hit the subscribe button and the like button if you want more content similar to this.